This fast has brought out such revelation knowledge that it's not only blowing me away, but it's blowing everybody away. Everybody is just grabbing a hold and seeing everything, and I love that. I love that. The fellowship we had talking this morning. You may not have realized it, but every bit of it was revelation knowledge. Every bit of it was revelation knowledge. It was fellowship, but it was revelation knowledge to us. If you was not here, you missed a lot of the service today by not being here early, because there was such revelation knowledge coming forth. If you have your Bible, go to the great book of Joshua. The great book of Joshua. Now, we had a word last week that had come forth during this fast, and the word was, and Phyllis, I appreciate what you moved in as the Spirit spoke to you to move this morning. And this is what the church has got to come to the place of. And that is, when God speaks, move. Move. Because you can see great miracles, you can see bondages coming down. But this word that was spoken last week was about, she said, Mike, I heard blocks falling. I heard blocks falling. Now, and they were loud. Go to the great book of Joshua, chapter 6, and we'll start with verse 12. I'm going to preach for a few minutes on what brings the blocks down. What brings the blocks or the walls down. Now, you really need to grab a hold of this message. Really follow with me and listen to it today, because it's a life-changing message. It is a simple message with such words that are so profound. Listen to it. And Joshua rose early in the morning, and the priest took up the ark of the Lord. The 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets of ram's horns before the ark of the Lord went on continually and blew with the trumpets, and the armed men went before them. But the reward, or the ones coming in behind, came after the ark of the Lord, and the priests going on, and the blowing of the trumpets. And the second day they compassed the city once, and returned into the camp. So they did 6 days. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the same manner 7 times. Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. And the city shall be accursed, even it and all that are therein, to the Lord. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And ye in any wise keep yourself from the accursed thing, lest you make yourself accursed, when you take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel a curse, and trouble it. But all the silver and gold and vessels, brass, iron, are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord. Why did, this is not my message, but why did he say this? Why did the Lord say this about Jericho? Told the people, of this city you can have none of the spoil. You can touch none of the accursed thing. You can touch nothing that is valuable in this city. You can take none of it with you. Why did he do that? Because he had given them 10 cities. And this was the first fruit. And the first fruit is not to be touched. The tithe is not to be touched. This was the tithe on all the other cities that God was fixing to give. And so they were not to take of that. Let's go a little further. And that's not my message, but I wanted to bring that out. So the people shouted when the priest blew with the trumpets, and it came to pass when the people heard the sound of the trumpets, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. Now I want to look at something right here that we miss in our lives. When the Lord showed me this, and I've heard this message time and time and time again. Why, to start with, why did the children of Israel, the ones that was led out of Egypt, why did they not get to enter into the promised land except Joshua and Caleb? Why did they not? Because the word says of disobedience and murmuring and complaining. And I've heard this message many, many times. But there was a revelation knowledge that came forth to me, and I've heard this preached also, but it never clicked. And I want it to click in your life today, because this is something that is very, very vital. The reason the walls fell, and I want you to understand this, I want you to look at this. The reason I put this, I made a doorway. I can't use that doorway because it's got limitations to it. This one has none. I'll show you what I'm talking about. For you to be victorious in your life in every area, and God showed Israel this. He showed His people this. For you to be victorious in your life, in everything that God has got for you, there is a door of obedience. And I want you to catch this. There is a door of obedience. We walk, as people of God, we walk defeated a lot of times in our life. And I'm going to say the biggest majority of times in our life, because we are not where in obedience unto God in our life. Because you can only, when you go through that door of obedience, I want you to look at something right here. Now I'm behind the door, and everything is the same. Everything is the same. You see, there's pews, there's all of this down through there. But now when I come through the door, when I come through the door of obedience from God, then everything is still the same, but I have access to everything and heaven. You need to catch this, because it's going to change your life today. On